Get him up, everybody. There he is with aviators. He's coming. Yeah, Joe Cool. A friend gave me these aviators about 30 minutes ago. I stole them, actually. I lied. I got ice in my mouth, sorry. Yeah, I'm a 17-year-old comedian. Well, actually, I'm 18, but this joke doesn't work if I'm 18, so just for the joke, I'm gonna say I'm 17 real quick. Sorry, let me swallow this ice. All right, so I'm a 17-year-old comedian, so I always gotta make sure to look out for Jerry Seinfeld at these things. Make sure he doesn't get me. For those of you who don't get that joke, that's because as a 38-year-old man, Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old girl. Really puts the finale of Seinfeld in new light, huh? If you don't get that joke, and I mean if you're here because of me, that's because the finale of Seinfeld, they all went to jail. That's how the show ended. That was the best they could come up with. They just all went to jail. Like you, the Aquaman guy. What's your favorite TV show? Breaking Bad? Okay, I was gonna be like, just say Breaking Bad. Imagine if, instead of the actual ending of Breaking Bad, Skylar got a parking ticket and they all went to jail. Imagine if that was the ending of Breaking Bad, 62 episodes leading up to that. That would have sucked, right? Yes, it would have. All right, I'm done with that joke, so I'm back to being 18. I like saying that I'm 17 at mics because it's just more fun. Because if I bring up the fact that I'm 17, then everyone's like, oh, wow, that's so impressive that you're doing comedy at such a young age. That's so cool. And then I bring up the fact that I've been doing comedy since I was 16, and they're even more impressed. They're like, wow, that really is amazing. But now I'm like, well, I do comedy, and they're like, oh, just another unemployed college kid who thinks he's funny. And they're not wrong. But then I bring up the fact that I've been doing comedy since I was 16, and they're just like, oh, you're depressed. Makes so much more sense now. My mother is a therapist, and she did not know about that joke. Again, thank you all for being here. This is great that you're all here. I know there's a lot of other things you could have been doing tonight. You could be seeing Disney's Jungle Cruise on opening night right now. That's out in theaters right now. First time I saw an ad for that movie, I was with my parents, and I knew what it was because I'd seen posters and stuff, but I could tell that my parents didn't know what it was. And then the words Disney's Jungle Cruise came across the screen, and they hysterically laughed, which is fair because it's a crazy movie. Emily Blunt is teaming up with The Rock in order to steal a fruit from an ancient tribe in order to help medicine. Yeah. Jesse Plemons has been typecast as a Nazi for the third time in that movie. Yeah. I don't know what it is about Jesse Plemons playing Nazis. There's nothing too Nazi about him. I don't think if I saw him walking down the street, I'd be like, oh, that dude hates Jews. I can make these jokes. I'm Jewish. I'm half Jewish. Yeah. Let's go, Nick. Nick's my brother. Yeah, half Jewish. My dad is European Jewish, and my mom is just European, so that's why I look white. Yeah. My mom one time said that me and my brother are only Jewish when we need to be, which is fair because that was her response to me telling her about how me and the other Jewish kids in my German class got out of singing German Christmas carols because we were like, no, we're Jewish. Yeah. We were just like, hey, teach, we're gonna sit this one out, and then we'd just be in the corner like, Barukata, Onai, Elohenu, Adidas, Nike, we are farmers, bump it, bump, 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 amen. Teacher's like, these kids know their shit, wow. Yeah, Jews in German class. I bet someone can make a great joke about that. Yeah. Fuck, let's check the book. Yeah. It's good to be back here at the Hong Kong Inn. It's not the Hong Kong Inn anymore, it was the Hong Kong Inn. Yeah, I used to perform here when it was the Hong Kong Inn. There was an open mic that was run by Amy. Shout out to Amy. Yeah. Yeah. I still remember the first time I ever went up because there was a heckler on stage. Or they weren't on stage, there was a heckler there. She wasn't like purposely being a heckler. She was just drunk as shit.
My friend.
Yep, your friend, yep. And I was just thinking like, you're drunk at 7:30 p.m. on a Thursday? What is the rest of your life like? But I went up like third or fourth, so I was able to make it through my set. She wasn't too drunk. There was this one dude, he went like 7th or something. He made it through like 2 minutes of his set, but she was like throwing him off his rhythm and everything. He grabs like a pocket knife or something, stabs a balloon that was on the stage and just yelled, "I swear to God!" And then he just walked off the stage, he just left. That was the last time I've ever seen that man do comedy. So I saw that as a 16-year-old, and I'm like, yep, this is how I want to spend it every Thursday from now on. The past year and a half has been pretty hard for me as a comedian, not because of the fact that I couldn't do jokes, but because of the fact that after anything happened, everyone in my family would ask, "You gonna make jokes about that? You gonna joke about that?" Here's a fun fact. It takes my grandmother 2 seconds to say, "You can put that in your comedy routine after anything happens. Doesn't matter if it happens to me or if it's on the news. 2 seconds. You can put that in your comedy routine." So I think the fact that this is in her comedy and is in my comedy routine is making her bust a gut right now. Sadly, my grandmother couldn't be here with us tonight. She's in a better place, upstate New York. But you know who is here? My grandmother's friends, right here at this table. How you doing, Anita? Is it good? You enjoying the show so far? Yeah. I bet Anita's just sitting there like, who the hell is this kid? Because I only ever see Anita at my grandmother's house, so she's heard me say more in the past 3 minutes than any other time we've ever met. She was thinking like, I thought he was more of like a physical comedy guy. I mean, look at that cricket body. That's a gold mine of comedy. But if I've timed this out correctly, I should be reaching the end of my set. So I'm just gonna leave you with this story. Recently, my family went to Universal Studios. This was about a month ago. I didn't know about it until 2 days before we went. It wasn't a surprise or anything. It was just my mom forgot to tell me. She was like, you gotta help Victor on Wednesday and Friday. Victor was my boss at the time. And then she's like, and I was like, what about Thursday? And she's like, that's when we're going to Universal with Chrissy. I'm like, who the fuck is Chrissy? Turns out Chrissy is my mom's cousin. She was like, you know Chrissy. I'm like, I don't know Chrissy. And I was right, because the last time my mother and Chrissy were in the same room before Universal Studios was when she was pregnant with me. So I had not met Chrissy yet. But that day at Universal, that was the most interesting day of my life. Start off at 10 o'clock, we're going up like the grade into Thousand Oaks, we're driving to Universal. I see a car that is like specifically one of those cars from like driving schools. It's got like www.learntodrive.com on the side. They got like a phone number, stuff like that. We are on the freeway, it is 10 a.m. and I see a driving instructor texting and driving. It was like a bad New Yorker cartoon. It looked like the caption should have been like, who's teaching who? So that's just how the day started, and it only got crazier from there. When we were on the Minions ride, I saw the most sexual predator looking man I've ever seen in my life. This dude was just staring at me nonstop, and I know because I would make eye contact with him, look away, go back to making eye contact with him, look away, go back, and he is just still staring at me. And like, I'm not a confrontational person, but I was ready to go Rocky Balboa on this dude's ass. And it didn't matter if it was Rocky at the beginning of the movie or Rocky at the end of the movie. Win or lose, I was gonna fight this man. All right? So, luckily he stopped looking at me and he went back to talking with his girlfriend, because despite the fact that he was at an age where it would be weird for him to not be married, he did not give off married vibes. He gave off the vibes of that weird uncle who shows up to the family reunion despite the fact that no one invited him, and when they question him about how he knew about it, it turns out that he has like a secret Facebook account that he follows everyone in the family with, and that's how he found out. And then he's like, that doesn't matter, I just wanted to introduce you guys to my girlfriend. And then his younger but more successful brother makes a snarky remark like, your most recent girlfriend. And then he and his girlfriend leave on their motorcycle and sidecar. Those were the kind of vibes this guy gave off. Man, I'm gonna end this with this, because I know that I'm running the light, so I'm just gonna end it with this. We went to Krusty Burger for lunch, because Krusty Burger is the restaurant there at Universal Studios, all right? And while we're there, we pay for lunch. The total for lunch was $114.91. All right. So my mom pays with a 100 and a 20. My dad found this $100 bill at one of the Home Depots that he used to work at, all right? So we're at Universal Studios, we pay with the $100 bill, all right? Then the guy, he's like looking at the $100 bill and he like does the motions to look to see if it's real, but he's like really looking at it. So I'm like, what is it fake? It was a fake $100 bill. We let a fake $100 bill get up to the Krusty Burger at Universal Studios, the most sacred of our American institutions. So we almost got thrown in Universal jail. Everything was crazy. So afterwards, after everything's calmed down, as we're just enjoying our lunch, we're trying to figure out like how in the world did a fake $100 bill end up behind a paint shaker at a Goleta Home Depot. I'm just like, oh shit, my father has just ruined the most elaborate scavenger hunt ever. All right? And as we're leaving, I feel a hand on my shoulder, and I turn around to see my grandmother, and she goes, you could put this in one of your comedy routines. Thank you very much.
Keep it going for Benny Lampert.
Yeah, dude. That kid just graduated high school.
He's got so much more charisma than I ever had. The confidence to come up with fucking sunglasses inside. What a badass. Good job, Benny. I'm gonna keep the show rolling with a